Good evening and welcome everyone to the Beacon of Light podcast. We've had a little bit of a surprise this afternoon, this evening, really early in the morning, from my amazing guest, Sharan Sammi. It was around 1:30 in the morning her time, and she had a hard call to make that it was probably just a little bit too late for her to come to the Beacon of Light podcast this evening. And, sometimes that happens. So, I'm sad about it, but we're going to go live here anyway, because I have a few things that I really wanted to show all of you and to really thank everyone for being so supportive of the podcast. It has been really a beautiful adventure with everything. So again, I am sad to say that my guest this evening will not be able to join us. She's all the way across the pond in the UK, and it was just a little bit too late in the evening. So with that being said, we're going to continue forward with tonight's podcast. How many of you watch or listen to this podcast only through Facebook? Any hands out there? Let's see. I see some love out there. I see some people there popping in here. That's fantastic. If you watch it from the Facebook, that's wonderful. And I know a few of you go ahead and watch it on the YouTube channel. Well, I also wanted to announce that we are on Anchor now. So, slowly but surely we're making our way up onto all these different platforms. So while people are popping in here, I wanted to show you a few things about this introduction and everything like that. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see what the Beacon of Light podcast kind of looks like and feels like out there in the podcast world. Here we go. In sharing things like this, it's one of those places where you think, wow, okay, vulnerable time, but we're gonna hit it and do well with it, right? You just want to be able to always shine light and help everyone as much as possible. So as you can see here, as I've shared my screen, you can listen to it in many different places, on BeadPod, on Apple, on everywhere you hear other podcasts. So this is an exciting time for me because moving into more and more platforms means a little bit more work, but it means the opportunity that you guys get to amplify out your message. So I wanted to share just a little bit about what this sounds like, and hopefully the sound comes across. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear it, because I don't know. It's possible. So that's kind of an exciting thing to share with everybody. So I don't know if you were able to hear that or not. If not, then you got to see the signing. So hello, Pam. How are you? Yes, this is a Thankful Tuesday. Yes, we are excited to be here. And again, my lovely guest was not able to make it this evening, but that's not going to stop us. So we want to be able to really march forward with all of this. So I wanted to make that announcement that now we are on Anchor, and pop in there and see if you haven't heard of the other podcasts that we've done as of late. Tonight is a great night to pop in there and check out some of the things. So what is it about authors who write books? What is it that attracts us to want to read it? Those are questions that somehow we're moved as a writer to share a story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. You just have this desire to share a story. And I know that story connects all of us to the world. So I have a few stories here that I wanted to show and emphasize because we are still celebrating and making the awareness. I know, Pam. No, I know. It was sad. We are going to reschedule again, though. We will. She says, oh no. I know. It's kind of hard, but we are going to show off some books this evening. And so that's an exciting time. We wanted to start with our Pinpoints of Light Healing Conference because April is the month of childhood sexual abuse awareness and childhood abuse awareness. I think I said that twice. It's a sad time to be aware of many of these things, but it also allows us to have our voice be heard and to share things forward. So I wanted to share with you a few of the books from our amazing speakers. Our first book, because she was our first speaker, is Miss Kathy Stutter. Now, Kathy's story is one of power and of grit, and now one of a warrior, because she came through such tragic sexual abuse from her stepfather and has found a way to heal, and now brings all of you from being broken to beautifully whole. And I know many of you are great fans of Kathy, so I wanted to just emphasize that her book is available everywhere: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, all those places. Because if you have that connection, there's times where sometimes you just have to understand another person's story and how they healed in order to help yourself get through. Our next book is from Miss Linda Larson Schlitz, and Speak to Me, God, I'm Listening. This is a 365-day devotional, and it's got all kinds of things in it, because if you want to hear God's word through answers of life's questions, sometimes you just have to ask, right? And she has discovered that in the asking, you actually get to receive. And healing happens with that. Our next is actually two books from our speaker that's going to be tomorrow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Miss Elizabeth Clamon. I won't always put a French little twist to it all. Beautiful, intensive story of how beauty can rise from brokenness. So you can kind of see a theme here, right? This is a combination of a whole bunch of authors and being fiercely faithful in how they stand, know, and choose God in spite of everything that happens in life. And so we're going to meet this amazing author tomorrow. Next in line for our authors is Dr. Mary Welsh with her 4 books in the healing process it takes when you lose the life of a loved one. And she lost her daughter, Miss Susie. And now we are celebrating her life with a charity and with so many opportunities. And I tell you, this book here, My Special Angel, has really been a healing tool for our family. When I lost my mother-in-law, so the kid's grandmother, just a few years ago, and the grandfather, so my husband's mom and dad passed. And this book helps us to remember their lives and to remember all the amazing things and the good things. In fact, it even inspired us in the fall to reenact something that she did every fall, because out of her 11 grandchildren, 6 are born in October. Woo! So we would always do a fall festival activity with the pumpkins and with a corn maze. And last fall, we did that again, finally. Been a few years. So that was really good. And another part that helps us, I might get teary. These little guys right here. You know, when you lose a pet, sometimes it's usually a surprise. You usually don't know they're sick or an accident happens, right? Oh, we lost our Molly just in January. And to kind of go into that story, some of you may not know, but in January, my whole family was exposed and came down with COVID. We just did our best to keep everyone healthy and clean, and you know what happens. So as we were sick, we didn't get it too severely, so which was a huge blessing in our family, but my mom did. And I drove up to Utah to go and visit Mom and to be with Dad and to be with my son, because he lives with my parents. There's a time and a place where sometimes you have to just drop the everyday of life and go and love and support. Since we had all had the COVID and she was having it, other people couldn't come in and take care of them. So I willingly drove those 23 hours to be there and to be with Mom and to be with my dad and my son and help them through whatever I could. In that time frame, Molly got sick and passed. So fast. But angels are around, and the healing that we go through is really powerful. So I really thank Dr. Mary for all of these books here. Our next amazing author is Miss Cecilia Timent. And I couldn't get the book away from my daughter tonight to show you. She was reading it. And when my daughter picks up a book to read, just kind of leave it. She saw all these piles of books and she's reading through it. So I don't have it to show you right here, but Cecilia's book is a really powerful book about how children feel about this topic and their experience as they go through it. So sometimes the perspective is always from the adult or from the adult victim. Hers is from the perspective of the child victim of abuse at the hands of her dad. Very, very powerful way because it transforms from hate to love. And her story, she's going to share it with us in a few weeks, and I'm so excited for her opportunity for that. Our next amazing author is Miss Lori Jean Jones with The Pawn. She too is a survivor of childhood abuse and torture, lots of challenging experiences. And through the writing of this book, which is actually a third writing because of how the Lord worked in her life, the curse became a blessing for her. And she's going to share about how you can heal as well. And finally, have my books, Pinpoints and Out of Darkness. I'm going to focus in on the Out of Darkness part of the book. So I'm really excited about sharing this with you. And my good friend John Hewlin is going to be the interviewee for me. And that has been a huge blessing for him to be so willing and so gracious to step away from his time and his business to do the interviewing on my part. So it's wonderful. I know there's a lot of books kind of covered this evening, and I'll put the list of all of them down here in the comments below. But really, all of this is to celebrate the healing that is happening. And in our Pinpoints of Light, Childhood Abuse and Sexual Abuse Awareness Healing Conference, which will be tomorrow evening with Miss Elizabeth Clement, we are so excited to share with you these opportunities of true healing and that it can happen for everyone. So on the podcast this evening, before I close, even though it's kind of a short one, I wanted you to know that connecting and writing story shows strength. It shows courage. It shows sometimes we have to make a stand, right? When we stand, when challenges are hard, we bring an opportunity to draw boundary, right? And when we have a strong boundary, we are actually given more freedom because others know and can see, don't mess. We know that's where the boundary is. When our boundaries kind of shift or move around and if we're not really strong in them, then we can be, kind of taken advantage of, bullied on, anything like that. So draw your boundaries because it shows the strength. It shows how you stand. It shows your courage. And I know with Kathy, she talks about that, especially with children and their bodies and how we can, as adults, help them with that and identify, I'm not comfortable with that. And this is my body, my space, my place. And it's a beautiful thing and a simple thing, but a powerful thing. Because when we empower children like that, then we reduce these chances of challenging things to happen. So that was just kind of a quick peek for everyone tonight. And again, we missed our guest and we're sad that she couldn't make it. but we will reschedule again, probably in the summertime when maybe there's a little more flexibility. So we're excited about that. But the following week, well, we'll start with tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the conference at 7:30, and we're really excited about this. And then the following week, we have a powerhouse week. 3 authors, 3. So we will take time away from the Beacon of Light actual podcast on that Tuesday evening, because we have Dr. Mary on Monday, we have Cecilia Tement on Wednesday, and we have Lori, your book. Ugh. And we have Lori on that Thursday. So it's going to be a really powerful, strong week. And then I will close it out the following week on that Monday, the 26th. So don't worry about all the dates. They're all down there. I'll put down the registration again. And thank you. There's been a few latecomers that have been popping up on the registration, which has been fantastic, because we did want to share this information throughout the entire month. Sometimes we're really good with one and done, but there's so many children. There's so many families. And we think carrying the impact through the month is important. Yes, Pam, I am excited about closing out the conference and hearing more about the Out of Darkness. We really want to be able to have our lights shine and emphasize out there, for sure. Everyone, thank you for your support. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to so many great things with all of you. And if there's something that you want to hear, if there's something that you feel needs to be touched on, please let me know. I'd love to be able to find an author that has that topic and share it with everyone. This podcast is for every author who has a book about hope, because I want hope to be that guide in your life. Because if you have hope, you have light. And if you have light, you have life. That's it for me tonight. Thanks, everybody. This is April Tribe Juke signing off for the Beacon of Light podcast. We'll see ya.